question I'm going to ask everyone is, what local issue concerns you the most, and what do you propose to do in order to rectify the problem?
What local issue that concerns me the most is less in the economic realm than it is the human realm. One of the things that disturbs me about this wonderful community that I grew up in is the lack of civic engagement and pride and concern for your community, your neighborhood, and the people that live in the same city with you. Even with the greatest influx or empowerment that comes from economics, if you don't have people that care about each other, then it's worthless. And I often see that, a case in point, our very community, which have roughly about 1,700 people, look at the turnout today. There's this lack of concern. There's an apathetic thread that runs through our community of unconcern and disinterest, and that is very disturbing to me. And I think that we need to work at that as individuals, as families, and as a community. And the more we work on that, I think that will strengthen the other areas that we're concerned about, whether that's job creation, housing creation, recreation creation, or even in the arts or culture creation. We must care about the community that we live in, and we must put ourselves in it. We work in a very difficult era, and the only way that success comes is by working together. And the more that we pull apart, the less our success is. So apathetic and lethargic about your community is not what I really want to see happening. There have been numerous occasions that I've worked with state officials, beginning even before I came back to my hometown. As a collegiate in college, we were lobbying various state officials for the University of Maryland. But as changeable as state politics are, sometimes you don't see the same face in a series of years. They change as much as the seasons change. But I feel very comfortable working with state officials. There are other instances that I've worked with state officials just recently when we were tackling the whole issue of strategic revitalization in the city, also privatization issues. We were in Annapolis talking with our delegates and our senators, and even for advocacy for the community at a very basic level. There are occasions that you have to talk with state officials. And state officials are human as we are. We don't often get a chance to develop very deep-rooted relationships with them unless we are public officials for long terms, like the incumbents are talking about. But there's always potential for established relationships with people. My name is James Lane. I'm running for mayor. The reason why that I am decided to run for this position as mayor is because I feel that there is a segment of our constituents or citizens in the city who have not yet expressed or birthed the things that they have inside of them, and that birthing will be a major contribution, I think, to our future and our success as a city. What disturbed me most about this political process this season was the fact that there were very few people considering political office for the city, and we still had the incumbents running again. And I thought that it was necessary to enlarge the political and democratic process for people to express themselves. I think there are people here that are young people, and I'm not talking about just 17, 18, and 19-year-olds, but these are young men and women who have families and have children in the school system, and there are faith-based communities who are desiring to birth some new and exciting things in Crisfield, and I think they need an opportunity to create that dialogue and also have the opportunity to create those things that will add to the vision for Crisfield. We certainly have one that was established before.
All right, the question is, what are your plans for bringing the community together? And that means all citizens included in the plans.
That question I really like for one reason. I spend a lot of time among people in the public doing different things in our city. And one of the things that I find that you need to bring people together is a good sense of humor. You have to be self-deprecating. And often when I'm talking to people, even from out of state and from other areas of countries, I talk about and celebrate the city of Crisfield. I talk about the unique quality of the people, of their hospitality, their warm-heartedness, their openness, and even their own sense of humor about their lives here. And I think we need to sit down and talk very simply as human beings and don't be afraid of each other. I know that there are times that we will disagree, but we don't have to remain disagreeable as much as that adage is used over and over. We won't all agree, we won't all see eye to eye, but we don't have to stop talking to one another. We don't have to stop appreciating one another. We don't have to stop reaching out to one another. We don't need to be caught up in our own separate lives in orbit, but we need to be concerned about other folks who have problems that are different than ours, but problems that we can probably lend a hand and help out sometimes. But talking, communicating, and going in places together and working together will bring people together. And celebrating the city, and celebrating the quality of what makes us a wonderful people that attract other people here to this city. People talk about small Main Street communities like Crisfield and how much is a wonderful gem to have. We have something very special. James Lee, running for mayor. I'm going to start in the back of the question. I'm going to start with the drug problem. The drug problem is a family problem for many people. And when you begin to use law enforcement as the sole tool of solving the drug problem, you wind up criminalizing and demonizing more people than you care to do. And what happens, it paralyzes your community, and then you do have this balkanization or this separation of looking at one segment of the community as being the culprit. And I think that needs to be looked at much more carefully. As far as the budget and the police cars, I'm not at liberty to say the inner workings of how the budget is set up for the police department that operate in our city. One thing I do say that I've heard from constituents, and it's a concern of mine, that they would like to see the police officers walk more and be more present in the community, not so much mobile, but walking around and talking with people and spending some time with people close up. And they do that in part, but I think there's a possibility for that to happen more.
We have about 15 minutes to go. I'm going to ask a final question, and everyone will have a minute and a half to respond to it. Jack will be yours. 30 seconds left, you'll see the yellow. Close, you'll see red. And the question is, why should the people of Crisfield vote for you?
The reason why the people of Crisfield should vote for me is that I've always had a sense of public service. I was raised in a family who are people that believe in giving back to the communities no matter where we lived, and we worked in that capacity. We have a deep empathy for people, not only in the city, but in our neighborhoods and families that we grew up with. I'm delighted to be available to work for the city and to work very hard. And I know that the work ethic is very strong in Crisfield. People have worked at 2 or 3 jobs to make one job work, and they contribute to the community. There's a very strong volunteerism spirit here. There's a very strong faith-based community. And I like to work with those communities as a public servant. And I do believe that in that capacity as mayor of this city, that I will work even harder than I have worked in the past to make our community a very vibrant, revitalized, and attractive city, not only for visitors, but for the people that live here as well. This evening was an exciting time to be here because finally the candidates could come face to face with the citizens and the voting constituents that will make their candidacy alive as well as real on June the 16th during Election Day. I was quite impressed with the array of candidates and their viewpoints. Many of them made some poignant and very moving statements about the community. There was one exciting thing that all the candidates possessed, and that was the fact that they have a love and an excitement for the community. They're looking forward to doing public service and working in the community in various capacities, working across the community, both with the young and the old, those who are within the city and those that are without the city. I certainly want to thank also the campaign team that was responsible for my appearance here, who's helped me along the campaign trail, the many supporters that have come out to our headquarters and those that have registered to vote. And we are thankful that they are involved and participating in the democratic process of electing new officials for the city of Crisfield for the year 2010 into 2011.
constituents in the city of Crisfield, remember June the 16th and come out and vote. That's from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 in the evening. We're looking forward to having a wonderful turnout. And remember the James Lane campaign is the person that you want to look for on that ballot. Not only that, you want to make sure that you pull the lever for James Lane's campaign for mayor. And I thank you for all of the things that you've done to support this campaign thus far.